back to Habitat Kitchen. Today we're doing pizza. Pizza dough, that is. Such a simple recipe. You guys are going to be able to do this. I'm going to make it a bit more easier. I'm using a stand mixer, but you can, if you don't have a stand mixer, go ahead. You can use a bowl. So simple. Classic dough ingredients. We're going to be using flour, oil, yeast, a little bit of sugar just to help the yeast rise, and salt to help flavor the dough. Let's get into it. First thing you're going to want to do is measure out 1.5 cups of lukewarm water. This is about 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Right now I'm adding 2 tablespoons of olive oil or avocado oil, which I'm using in this video, into the water. You'll also want to measure out your yeast. You'll need 7 grams of yeast, or 1 packet, and 1 teaspoon of sugar, giving it the reaction that you want, which will make the bread rise. You're going to want to dissolve the yeast in the warm water. I'm just using a whisk, or you can use a fork, just to make sure all the little bits are dissolved, or mostly dissolved. We have a nice little time lapse of the yeast doing its magic, because you're going to want to let it sit aside for 5 minutes to let it rise. Wasn't that cool? Okay, this is 3.5 cups of bread flour. If you can't find bread flour, you can use all-purpose, but it's going to be more chewy than crunchy on the outside. To that, I'm also adding 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm just going to give that a quick mix. To this, you're going to want to add your yeast mixture. Just dump it straight in and give the the measuring cup a bit of a scrape. You don't want to waste any. That's what's going to make your bread rise and be the nice texture that you want it to be. So you're going to mix it up. If you're doing a bowl, this might come together a bit faster for you, but you will need to do a few more minutes of extra kneading at the end. If you're using stand mix, you're going to want to flip the dough and get kind of all the crumbs that the mixer is not able to reach at the bottom of the bowl. Flip it over, make sure all the crumbs are at the top so they get incorporated into your mixture. You're going to want to mix for about 5 minutes after that. You're going to want to turn your dough out on a lightly floured surface. Once you have your dough turned out, make sure all the pieces are out of the bowl. Start kneading. You're going to want to knead for about a minute. Once you're done kneading, make sure your ball's in a little ball. You're going to take a large bowl and lightly oil it. About 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons in the bottom of the bowl will be enough. You just want to make sure the bowl's covered in the oil. What I like to do is I usually just take the dough and I move the oil around with the dough, because the dough needs to be covered in oil while it's rising. This prevents it from drying out. This is just me playing around with the dough. You don't have to actually mix it like that in the bowl. So once the bowl's oiled and the dough is covered in oil as well, make sure there's no pools of oil. Just cover it with a tea cloth and put it in a warm, humid place. Now leave it aside for about an hour. It should double in size. You can see that it's got lots of air bubbles. Just push down in the center to release all the extra air. And pull the dough away from the sides. Such a cool texture, guys. Then once again, you're going to quickly knead it just a few times. And this dough makes 2 14-inch pizzas. But for us right now, we're making 3 individual sized. So I cut it in half and then cut those portions into 3. You can eyeball it like I did, or you can get real technical and use a scale. Decorate your pizzas. Put them in a preheated oven at 450 for about 10 to 15 minutes. Pizza just came out of the oven and it smells amazing. Now, since you're here, let's take a bite. Perfect. You got a nice crust at the bottom. Try this recipe out, guys. It is delicious. Have a nice day. I'm Beauchamp from HabitatKitchen. Habitat Kitchen, thank you very much.